Imagine this. Years after a guilty plea, a key piece of digital evidence pops up, and it changes everything.
Yeah.
That's not just, TV drama. It's pretty much the heart of what we're digging into today with State versus Danzy.
Exactly. This case, it's got a petition heading to the North Carolina Supreme Court, and it alleges this whole unraveling of the facts of due process. It's a really compelling look at how things like alleged prosecutorial misconduct, hidden evidence, even just basic factual inconsistencies could potentially overturn a guilty plea.
Okay, so our mission today then is to unpack all that, see how these claims stack up, and crucially, how this specific case links up with the bigger push for transparency in policing.
Especially North Carolina's 2025 Public Safety Act, yeah.
Right. So let's start at the beginning. Danzy's plea.
Okay, so Darius Jamal Danzy entered what's called an Alford plea. He pleads guilty, technically, to misdemeanor fleeing to elude arrest, but, and this is key, he maintains his innocence.
An Alford plea.
Right. And for that kind of plea to stick, the state generally needs to show there's strong evidence of guilt.
Which is where the problems start.
Pretty much. Because the state claimed repeatedly, like on the record, November 2022, again, April 2023, that there was no body camera video from the incident.
No video. Okay, and that influenced his decision to plead.
Directly. That's the argument. But here's the kicker. Officer Durwood Radford's body cam footage. It was produced. Finally. March 2025.
Wait, March 2025, years after they said it didn't exist.
Years later, during a motion for appropriate relief hearing, which is, designed for challenging convictions with new evidence.
Wow, okay, so what does this suddenly surfaced video actually show?
Well, according to the petition, it shows some really troubling stuff. It allegedly depicts Officer Radford basically planting evidence.
Planting evidence? How?
The petition describes him throwing an object at the canine, the police dog, seemingly to get it to alert.
Okay. And how does that contrast with the reports?
It directly contradicts another officer's report, Officer Locke, who later wrote, unsworn, mind you, about finding just crumbs, no mention of this thrown object.
So the video potentially shows active manipulation, not just a mistake.
That's the allegation. And there's more. The video also allegedly shows Radford blocking his camera's view.
Blocking when?
Right when the physical search of the car started. And during that time when the camera view is blocked, there were claims made about finding contraband.
But no actual evidence collected.
Correct. No evidence collected. And get this, Radford's own video, the one they said didn't exist, it confirms another officer, Officer Hicks, also had an active body camera during the initial stop.
The stop related to the fleeing charge.
Yes. And the state also claimed the camera footage didn't exist or wasn't relevant.
Okay, so it feels like a pattern of non-disclosure here. What about the pursuit itself, the fleeing charge?
That's another huge issue. Officer Locke's affidavit, his sworn statement, claims some really extreme speeds.
Like what?
He said he hit 110, even 120 miles per hour just to catch up to Danzy over about a mile and a half. Then supposedly paced him at 75 in a 45 zone.
120 miles per hour? Wait, does that even make sense?
Well, the petition argues it's a mathematical impossibility.
Really?
Yeah, they ran the calculations. Based on the distances, the starting points, the speeds, the officer just wouldn't have caught up like you described. And remember, this was at night. The route was apparently over 4 miles long, had 2 sharp 90-degree turns. It just doesn't track.
So these, provable falsehoods, they completely undermine the strong evidence of guilt needed for that Alford plea.
That's precisely the argument. It cuts right to the core of the plea's validity.
Okay, so let's connect the dots for people listening. Why is this so important? It sounds like a classic Brady violation.
Absolutely. Yeah. Brady is all about the prosecution's duty to turn over evidence that's favorable to the defense, evidence that was suppressed here.
And the lower court, what did it say about the video?
The Superior Court actually acknowledged the footage should have been produced. But then it made this critical error, saying it was irrelevant because Danzy wasn't charged with a drug crime.
But wait, Brady isn't just about the specific charge, right? It's about anything that could help the defense.
Exactly. It absolutely applies to impeachment evidence that could undermine an officer's credibility. And, alleged evidence planting or impossible testimony seems pretty relevant to credibility.
Regardless of the charge.
Regardless of the charge. And the state's repeated misrepresentations about the video, that looks like serious prosecutorial misconduct. It directly impacted Danzy's decision to plead guilty while innocent.
And this is where the new law comes in, the 2025 Public Safety Act.
Precisely. This whole situation is like a textbook example of why that law was needed. It specifically clarifies that Brady obligations apply to body camera footage. It mandates transparency.
So the hope is the state Supreme Court steps in.
Yes, intervention is needed to guide the lower courts. To say, look, this kind of alleged misconduct, these Brady issues, especially around officer credibility shown on camera, have to be taken seriously.
It really drives home the need for clear rules and accountability.
Absolutely. Transparency isn't just a buzzword, it's fundamental.
So wrapping this up, what's the big picture here? We have what seems like a standard case, maybe, a misdemeanor plea bargain.
Right.
But it potentially blows wide open because of delayed video footage revealing alleged evidence planting, camera obstruction, mathematically impossible account. It just raises huge questions about judicial integrity.
It really does.
So a final thought for you listening. If the very foundation of a case, the evidence itself, can be so fundamentally challenged by one piece of footage that was initially hidden, what does that signal about trust in the system? And just how vital is this push for transparency, especially with new laws trying to enforce it in our digital world?